Confusion! USB-C isn't actually one thing. You've got a USB-C port, a USB-C cable, a USB-C device. So why doesn't it work? Here's what most people never find out. USB-C is a shape. That's it. The connector being the same on both ends tells you almost nothing about what that port can actually do. Some USB-C ports charge, some output video, some transfer data at high speed, some do all three. But a port that charges won't always display. A port that displays won't always transfer data. You can plug the same cable into two USB-C ports on the same laptop and get completely different results. No error message, no warning, just nothing. The fix is simple once you know it. Check your device's specs and look at the symbols next to each port. A lightning bolt means thunderbolt. A monitor icon means video output. Those symbols are telling you something important. And surprisingly, cables can make this confusion even worse. Cables. Cheap cables causing expensive problems. Everything is plugged in correctly. The cable looks fine. The port looks fine. And yet, nothing works. This is one of the most frustrating problems in tech because the cable is invisible to you. No warning, just failure. Not all cables carry the same signals, even when they look identical. A cheap USB-C cable might only handle basic charging. It physically cannot carry video data. A low-quality HDMI cable might work at 1080p, but fail at 4K, causing flickering, dropouts, or a black screen. The real trap is partial failure. Charging works, but display doesn't. A drive connects, but transfers at a fraction of its rated speed. Because partial failure looks like a broken port, most people never suspect the cable. The fix? Use certified cables. Look for USB-IF certification on USB cables and HDMI licensing administrator certification on HDMI. They cost a little more. They save a lot of time. But even perfect cables can't save you from the next mess. Versions. HDMI version chaos. You bought a monitor that supports 4K at 120 Hz. You bought a device that supports 4K at 120 Hz. You connect them, and now you're stuck at 60 Hz. HDR is grayed out. VRR doesn't appear. Here's why. HDMI has versions 1.4, 2.0, 2.1, each with a different bandwidth ceiling. HDMI 2.0 handles 4K at 60 Hz. HDMI 2.1 is what you need for 4K 120 Hz, full HDR, and variable refresh rate. Now here's the part that should genuinely frustrate you. The HDMI licensing administrator, the official governing body, actually allows manufacturers to label a port as HDMI 2.1 even if it only supports some 2.1 features. Companies can legally stamp 2.1 on a port while omitting 4K 120 Hz or VRR, as long as they list supported features. In fine print, nobody reads. The connector and cable look identical. The label lies. This might be one of the most misleading standards in consumer technology, and things get stranger once multiple devices share the same connection. Traffic. USB hub bandwidth trap. A USB hub seems like the perfect solution. One port becomes 7. You plug in your SSD, webcam, keyboard, microphone, and everything works. Until you add one more thing. Suddenly, your SSD crawls. Your webcam freezes mid-call. Audio drops out. You unplug something, and it all recovers. Here's why. A USB hub shares the total bandwidth of a single port across every connected device. That bandwidth is a fixed pipe. When multiple high-demand devices compete for it simultaneously, everyone loses. The frustrating part is that it's invisible at low load. 3 devices? Fine. 4 doing light tasks? Fine. 4 doing heavy tasks at once? Everything chokes with no explanation. The fix is distribution. High-bandwidth devices, SSDs, cameras, capture cards, connect directly to your computer's ports. Low-bandwidth devices, keyboards, mice, chargers, are what hubs are actually designed for. At least your devices still show up. The next issue can make ports feel completely unreliable. Shortcuts. Front USB port problems. Here's something that confuses a lot of desktop users. The front USB ports on your case stop working, or they disconnect randomly, or they're capped at USB 2.0 speeds when your device supports USB 3. Meanwhile, the ports on the back of the machine work perfectly. The reason? Front ports connect to your motherboard through internal header cables, thin connectors that attach to small pins on the board. If that connection is loose, the ports misbehave. If the header doesn't fully support USB 3, speeds get capped. Front ports are also often wired through an internal hub chip, meaning you're already sharing bandwidth before connecting anything. They're physically closer to the case exterior too, making them more vulnerable to wear, static, and power instability. The fix. When reliability matters, use the rear ports directly on the motherboard, wired differently, almost always more stable. And if slow devices are frustrating, wait until your internet speed starts lying to you. Bottlenecks. Ethernet speed problems. You're paying for gigabit internet. The plan says 1,000 megabits per second. You run a speed test. You get 94. The Ethernet port is often where this problem lives. First, cable category. Cat5 cables cap at 100 megabits per second over typical distances. Cat5e or higher is what gigabit requires. That old cable running through your wall might be physically capping your speed. Second, port negotiation. Ethernet ports negotiate connection speed with the device on the other end. If a cable has a worn connector or a port is slightly damaged, the negotiation silently falls back to 100 megabits per second, 10 times slower than gigabit, with no warning. Third, your machine's Ethernet port might be a 100 megabits per second port. Some budget laptops never had gigabit controllers. For many people, this stays hidden for years. They blame the ISP. It's the cable. Try a new Cat5e or Cat6 cable. That fixes it more often than not, but at least your internet still works. The next problem attacks something even more noticeable. Static audio jack problems. One day the left side of your headphones cuts out. You hear crackling when you shift the cable. Your microphone stops being detected. Your first instinct? Broken headphones. Maybe not. The 3.5mm audio jack is one of the most physically stressed ports on any device. Every plug-in and unplug wipes across the contact points inside. Over time, those contacts wear down, oxidize, or collect debris. The spring tension weakens. The electrical connection becomes unreliable. The result is exactly what you'd expect from a borderline connection: crackling, one channel cutting out, intermittent mic detection, or audio that only works in one very specific cable position and dies the moment anything shifts. Fixes depend on severity. Compressed air clears debris. Contact cleaner handles oxidation. If the port is mechanically damaged, a USB or Bluetooth audio adapter is often the most practical solution, cheaper than a repair and more reliable. But monitor users deal with a problem that's even stranger. Vanishing DisplayPort sleep bug. You step away. Your computer sleeps. You come back, tap a key, and your windows are everywhere wrong. Maximized apps floating in corners. Your entire workspace scrambled. This is the DisplayPort sleep bug, and here's why it happens. When a DisplayPort monitor sleeps, it disconnects at the protocol level. As far as your OS is concerned, the monitor was physically unplugged. So Windows moves all your windows to a virtual display and reorganizes everything. When the monitor wakes, it reconnects, but your layout is already gone. HDMI doesn't behave this way. DisplayPort's disconnection is by design, which makes it particularly maddening. Windows 11 added a setting called Remember Window Locations based on monitor connection that attempts to restore your layout on reconnect. It helps, but it still breaks regularly, and plenty of apps ignore it entirely. And somehow, DisplayPort still isn't the most confusing connector on modern computers. Identity Thunderbolt compatibility confusion. You spent real money on a Thunderbolt dock or SSD. You plug it into your USB-C port. It doesn't work, or it runs at a fraction of its rated speed. Here's the confusion. Thunderbolt and USB-C use the exact same physical connector. The port looks identical. The cable looks identical. But they are not the same thing. Thunderbolt is a separate Intel technology that runs over the USB-C form factor. A Thunderbolt port supports USB-C devices, but a USB-C port does not support Thunderbolt devices. That's not a minor distinction. Thunderbolt 4 delivers up to 40 gigabits per second. USB 3.2 Gen 2 delivers 10. Certain Thunderbolt features, daisy chaining, driving specific displays, simply won't function on a USB-C only port. To confirm Thunderbolt support, look for a lightning bolt symbol next to the port. No symbol? USB-C only, regardless of claimed speed. Some people find this even more confusing than USB-C itself, and that's saying something. All of these problems lead to one final nightmare. No signal. The no signal nightmare. You press the power button, the PC turns on, the monitor stays black. No signal. No signal isn't a diagnosis. It's a symptom that could mean almost anything. The cable might be the wrong version or damaged. The monitor might be set to the wrong input. The GPU port might be physically damaged. Output might be routing through integrated graphics instead. The GPU might have failed. Or a driver update quietly broke the signal chain overnight. No on-screen error to read. The thing you use to see error messages is the thing that isn't working. This is where USB-C confusion leads, where bad cables lead, where misleading HDMI labeling, overloaded hubs, front port instability, Ethernet bottlenecks, audio failures, DisplayPort bugs, and Thunderbolt confusion all eventually lead. One screen, black, no signal. So, what's the worst port problem you've ever dealt with? USB-C confusion? HDMI version lies? The DisplayPort window scramble? Something even worse? Drop it below.